Hey, what's happening, Rangers? Welcome back to Power Rangers!
Yeah!
Battle for the Grid Arcade Mode.
Oh, yeah!
So today we're looking at Ranger Slayer.
Yes!
Not MMPR Pink Skin, but Ranger Slayer.
Ranger Slayer!
And we're gonna go with, Jason.
Yeah!
And even though we did Gia yesterday, I really like playing as Gia.
Gia!
Because I'm not really good at the rest of the characters, so.
And because Gia's awesome.
Gia's really fun to play. Like,
she is fun to play and awesome. Yep, definitely.
So anyway, in the comment section below, tell us a character that you would really like to appear in Battle for the Grid and why you would choose that character.
Ooh.
Go now! Because,
Start typing.
Yeah, start typing.
Typity type. So yeah, we've actually had some people, that don't know too much about Power Rangers that have asked who Ranger Slayer is, so...
Okay. Ranger Slayer is Kimberly that was brainwashed by Lord Draken to basically become his right-hand lady.
Okay. Second in command, or right-hand lady.
Kind of think about it like, Lord Draken is Emperor Palpatine, and Ranger Slayer is Darth Vader.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the easiest way to explain it, because, Draken is the emperor of the world and trying to take over the universe.
Yep.
And Ranger Slayer is like his fist that he sends to deal with some stuff.
Yep.
And that's why she didn't appear in the first altercation with the original Power Rangers when Lord Draken met them.
And is Ranger Slayer really Kimmy Cub that was brainwashed?
Yep.
Alright, so this is actually Kim, the Pink Ranger, but she's been brainwashed to be evil.
Kim was second in command of the Coinless Resistance, which Coinless is basically a term for Power Rangers that have had their powers taken away. So, after the war where Draken killed, where Tommy killed Jason and Billy and Zordon and Rita and Zed and took over the world, for years, basically, Zack, Trini, Kimberly, and Bulk and Skull and a couple others were part of a resistance, the freedom fighters that were fighting Lord Draken. Something goes wrong during a mission, and I believe Bulk is killed, and then she becomes kind of like... She attacks Draken for whatever reason with a regular bow and arrow.
Oh yeah, I forgot Bulk and Skull would come into play later on.
Yep, Bulk and Skull had a pretty big role in the world of the Coinless, although both end up being killed, I'm pretty sure.
Aww. And they became good guys, kind of? Or...
They were always good guys, they were just bullies.
Yeah, they were just bullies, but they became good.
They were bullies in high school. I mean,
I gotcha.
High school doesn't necessarily define how a person's going to be. They can still change. It's harder for them to change, but sometimes, taking the low road in life leads to the high road as you get older and you mature. So Bulk and Skull became, like, really good guys.
Awesome.
In the main universe, Skull actually grows up to be a millionaire, and Bulk pretty much lives in the town where the Samurai Rangers are, and he's obsessed with becoming a samurai.
Awesome.
And he trains Skull's son.
Oh, wow, that's pretty...
Even though he
awesome.
knows nothing about samurai. They're basically like the joke.
Oh, okay, alright. Comedy relief again.
Bulk also traveled the universe after Power Rangers in Space, and Skull, the actor, kind of left the show because in real life he became a teacher.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. Bye,
Awesome.
Evil Red. Putty Ranger.
Played a bully in the show and became a teacher in real life.
But both have, like, really good arcs. What's funny is they never say who Skull marries, and a running joke in the Power Rangers community, and even, like, the actor who played Skull says, "Oh, I married Kimberly." Because he had a crush on Kimberly in the show, so they were like...
Oh, that's cute.
They're just waiting for it to be canon. Amy Jo just has to show up once with, like, a little baby, or like in a picture of
oh my gosh,
Skull's son's family.
That would be so... That's kind of cute though.
Yeah, it's either she ended up with Jason or she ended up with Skull. That's the thing.
Alright. I don't know why, but I'm thinking her ending up with Skull would be pretty cute.
You know who Tommy ends up with?
I have no idea.
Zeo Pink. So Cat.
Pink. Oh, okay.
It's official. In the Power Rangers 25th anniversary episode, you see Tommy and Cat as a married couple.
Okay.
And you also know that they have a baby together. They have a son.
It's so weird to think of, like, these characters, like, getting together and stuff, knowing especially that, you know, like, the actors actually have actual families in real life and stuff like that.
Yeah, but literally Kat is the rebound girl.
Oh.
Like, she had an infatuation with Tommy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, you know, it just kind of like, they were like, well, we're gonna have Kim give Tommy a Dear John letter in Zeo, and then we're really gonna push Kat and Tommy together.
What? Yeah, the breakup with Kim and Tommy was kind of weird.
Awkward.
I feel like they kind of were supposed to be together, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not, but I don't know. It feels like they were together for a long time, but in the show.
In the Turbo movie, they were gonna hint that Jason and Kimberly got together, but they never really addressed that part of the storyline. Just like the romance was cut out of the 2017 movie.
Yeah.
And even in the comics, they don't really acknowledge it. They acknowledge a romance between, you know, Pink and Green. And also, Kimberly dated this guy who was just like a non-powered person in the Go-Go Power Rangers.
Yeah. You know, I would
who looks like Tommy.
I feel like they needed... I understand that Kimberly's kind of cool, but it's like, she's kind of like a valley girl, and I feel like Jason's character would need a girl with more substance to her.
Jason had a girl at the end of Zeo that was just a non-powered girl named Emily.
Oh, okay.
She was kind of cute.
Well, who's the girl that used to be evil and then she became good or whatever?
Astronema?
Yeah, I feel like she would do really well with Jason.
She's so much younger than Jason.
Oh. Never mind.
Like, so much younger.
Never mind. I don't know. Okay, I think Kim and Jason would... I don't know.
Because we haven't seen...
There's hardly any girls. I mean, it's like, there's like so many guys per girls in this.
There's usually like 2 girls per Ranger team.
Yeah.
With exception to, I believe, Power Rangers Dino Charge had 3 girls. I don't remember. Maybe not. Maybe it just had like... No, 2 girls, purple and pink.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, though.
Yeah, so...
But anyway, Ranger Slayer, she was not necessarily kidnapped by Draken, but she was reprogrammed, and she went around doing all kinds of bad things. She also went back in time to try to destroy the Rangers, per Tommy's request. And I don't believe they're in a relationship either, because, like... She says something like, you know, he can have her, but not her heart. And he just never really pursues something when she's evil again, because it's not really her. It's just kind of like mind-controlled puppet.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So how she's able to break the spell is she goes back in time in the Go-Go Power Rangers comic, which again is a prequel to the Mighty Morphin comics, which pretty much ended with the Rangers all losing their powers. Because basically you find out that the Morphin Grid was created by a bunch of these characters that kind of look like the Guardians from Green Lantern.
Oh my god.
They're in charge of the Morphin Grid, and when Tommy, as Lord Draken, tried to successfully destroy the multiverse, they intervened, and they basically made it so that none of the Power Rangers, except for 6 of them, which were outside of time and space, would lose their powers and, in fact, never become Power Rangers. So, Tommy didn't end up being killed by Lord Draken because he was never a Ranger. Everybody had technically a happy ending, and it's an interesting way to end the Power Rangers thing. But then you have a whole comic book called Beyond the Grid, where Ranger Slayer, who is not from the main universe, and her powers come from not the Morphin Grid. She leads a team of Red in Space, Magna Defender, Zeo Yellow, the Dark Ranger, which is from Dino Charge, and I'm trying to think the other person. I think it's Green Samurai Ranger. So those 5 throughout time and space doing stuff.
Yep.
And their book is still ongoing. It's actually pretty cool. If you guys want more on Ranger Slayer. Kim has been on the side of good again, but she's like a veteran, and she's leading this team.
Oh, okay.
which is the
cool.
second time that Kimberly has led a team of Power Rangers. The first being the Power Rangers Pink series.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I mean, the coolest thing about Ranger Slayer is obviously her cape, and she looks really cool. But her name is like really kind of scary, like Ranger Slayer. Like, does she actually do away with Rangers, or she just kind of like beats them up and leaves them knocked out or something? Wow.
She's like really powerful.
Wow. So she's like kind of terrorizing people. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, but yeah, she looks really cool. It looks like even her helmet is a little bit different than Kim's original helmet.
The pterodactyl helmet is very different in this. It's kind of like a demon helmet. It's got like more spikes to it.
Yeah.
The look of her armor, basically Boom Studios, they took her costume from the Pink Ranger miniseries, which was black and pink with a little bit of white in it, because she didn't really have access to the morphing grid, so her costume kind of took up what she was wearing. She had black leather pants and she had a pink leather jacket when Zordon summoned her, and her clothes kind of morphed into the new Pink Ranger costume.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
Because it wasn't, they were using Zordon's energy. Yeah, it was interesting. Like, Zack's new Black Ranger costume had a hoodie and like some other stuff. Trini's costume looked more feminine for once, but it was also different. Everybody was different.
Yeah, I always kind of wanted Trini to have a skirt, but... You know.
I think she did kind of have one. I don't remember. It's a miniseries that I had, but I never had the paperback of it. It was just a digital-ish... Well, I mean, you can get paperbacks of them, but I had them as digital.
Yeah.
Because the Mighty Morphin comic books and the Pink Ranger miniseries, the past couple years has been some of the best things to happen to superhero comic books, because Marvel and DC have... Outside of DC's Rebirth stuff, like comics in general, mainstream has been kind of lacking. So Power Rangers for the past 2 years really picked up the slack, and they're still doing it. Yeah. Like the Beyond the Grid series with these 6 Rangers traveling through time and space trying to reclaim everyone's powers is a really interesting concept.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I noticed that Ranger Slayer doesn't even really have a skirt on at all.
Nope.
She's just got the pants with... kind of like a little bit of pink on her pants, but it's mainly, like you said, black leather.
It's more like body armor that she's wearing, though.
And she almost looks like a pink stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Kind of. She's got, like, black and then a little bit of pink body armor. And, yeah, her helmet looks completely different when you look at hers versus Kim's. And then she's got the evil bow. But if you think about it, like, Tommy also got brainwashed by Rita, and then he ended up brainwashing her, so... Wait, didn't he? I thought Tommy, when he got...
Tommy was brainwashed by Rita.
Yeah, to become evil.
But in the world of the Coinless, pretty much what happens, even though he's working with the Power Rangers, Jason was never able to fully break the connection that Tommy had to evil, so in that universe, even when he was the Green Ranger, he was like more abrasive, he wasn't following orders as much. He was very easily manipulated by Lord Zed and Rita and other people.
Oh, so it's a completely different, like, universe and version of Tommy.
Instead of Tommy, like, really fighting every day to be a good guy until... Once he gets his Zeo powers, he doesn't have any evil in him anymore.
Yeah.
The reason why they say that Kat and Tommy work so well as a couple and why they end up together is because they were both brainwashed by, like, Rita.
Oh,
so they both were dealing with the evil inside of them. So they were trying to say, well, that makes, you know, those two perfect for each other is because they're so similar.
Kind of, but at the same time, I feel like people that struggle with the same problems usually can't really help each other recover very well.
I agree.
I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I feel like people need to think of positive things that are good about each other to you know, be a good couple. That's just my opinion. Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, that's interesting. So it's kind of like an alternate Earth, like, thing, and then they actually fight people, so they fight different versions of... So then they come to our Earth and fight versions of the Power Rangers on our Earth, kind of, or... Okay, alright, now I'm kind of understanding, so thank you.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, that's who Evil Kim is. And the character's kind of fun to play. She's not one of my favorite Rangers in this game, mainly because online right now, people can really abuse the game because like the crouch block doesn't work. So when I go online and I play people, they all pick Ranger Slayer because she has this insane like low chain combo that like does so much damage. So I don't even get to move. I like log into a match and I'm dead within a few minutes.
You don't even get to move.
Ranger Slayer, I knew you would eventually betray us. Rar.
Yeah.
Goldar.
You won't be around long enough to tell Draken.
No. I like that. Evil.
Alright.
And, yep. Jason's just kind of standing there.
Yep. But she basically goes after all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? Like Jason.
She takes them all on, yeah, because in Go-Go Power Rangers, the comic book, they are like supposed to be 16 years old. So they're not really veteran Rangers yet. By the time Jason gets the Gold Ranger powers, he's about 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
So when they first have their powers, they make the miniseries, like Go-Go Power Rangers, last up until they meet Tommy. Like, the series will end with the Green Ranger saga, like the evil Green Ranger. Because Tommy hasn't been introduced in the Go-Go Power Ranger comic, which has been going on for close to 3 years now. And it's much longer story-wise to see how long the Rangers were a team before Rita tried to destroy them with the green powers. Which we get we're going to get an origin of what the Green Ranger powers are and things like that. Mm-hmm. But they didn't really have anything to do, like, those Rangers, their past selves, they didn't have anything to do with the fight against Lord Draken. That was their future selves from the Mighty Morphin comic, which take place probably a year or so after Green Ranger lost his powers. And it's before he becomes the White Ranger. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, after Beyond the Grid, is going to continue with the White Light series. And I don't know if they're going to have Jason, Trini, and Zach leave the comics or not. Or if they're going to just stick to the same thing.
I know. You know what I was so excited about for the new movie series was, you know, like, to see what would have happened if Jason, Trini, and Zach had not left. That was like the new live action movie thing, the Lionsgate movie. Like, I thought that somebody was saying that they were gonna continue the series as if Jason, Trini, and Zach would not leave. So that would be really interesting to see the storyline of that. But anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah. The only problem is in the Power Ranger like Pink book that I told you about. The reason why Zordon contacts Kimberly to become a Ranger again is because the replacement Rangers, Tommy and Billy, are off on another planet, like, and they can't get back to Earth. So, you know, Zordon has to use his energy to give Kimberly back her powers and stuff like that because Kat is her replacement. So the fact that they show Kat, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, it makes me think that they are eventually going to bring them into this universe, or they're just going to go right to Zeo, because a lot of people didn't like when they replaced people.
I feel like they replaced them and that didn't work. They never did that again.
They have. There was. Hang on, that's you.
I should have done that long ago.
Well, you were brainwashed. It wasn't until your younger self was able to free you. But they did a power transfer that actually got a lot of ratings, and that was in Turbo when the Tommy, Adam, Kat, and Tanya transferred their powers over to TJ, Carlos, Maya, I think was her name. Cassie, sorry. Cassie. And I forget the Yellow Ranger, Ashley.
Oh, okay.
And they became the new Turbo Rangers, and that had a lot of
that didn't go
ratings.
That was like people actually liked that.
That was the time where, you know, leaving Rangers was actually something that people were interested in, and renewed interest in the show and the idea of Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, it was probably not as unexpected and like half kind of like baked and like last minute.
The thing
as
is,
the first one.
If they weren't, I mean, they realized that Steve wasn't really an alpha male, so they had to change a lot of the stories with Jason and give like kind of the alpha like role to Tommy.
Yeah,
so Rocky just became a joke. I don't think it was Steve's fault. but like they just did really crazy things. Like they made the Red Ranger goofy, and you couldn't take him seriously at all. And also Billy started to step up as second in command because all the other Rangers that were around were just kind of like newbies. You know?
All right, I have a question. Did Jason watch Sentai before he started doing that?
No.
Oh, okay.
He came from a military and police officer family.
Oh, okay, because I was like, he seemed to understand the role of, like, leadership for the Red Ranger or something, and I was like, maybe he watched Sentai.
Yeah, he was a...
That makes sense.
He was a military kid, and his mom was a... she was either an EMT or she was a police officer.
Yeah,
so he came from a family of law enforcement.
He took the role seriously as a leader. I mean, just because Rocky didn't have, like, muscles or whatever doesn't mean he couldn't be, like, leader, but it didn't feel like he really was one. But anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't have those leadership qualities. It's just, I would say that Adam would be, like, more of a natural-born leader.
Yeah.
Which is why Adam was brought back for the Power Rangers Overdrive special, what was it, like for the 15th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was cool to see him as Mighty Morphin Black during the Disney era, and he did a great job leading a group of veteran Rangers. It was a really cool thing to watch.
That's awesome.
But I still wish they would have brought him back as Green Zeo, because he never lost those powers.
Oh yeah, that would have been interesting.
And the Zeo crystals, what makes them so unique, and why I'm so excited to see like the Zeo team show up in a Power Rangers movie, is the Zeo crystals continue to evolve and get stronger.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
But after Turbo, you never see them really use them. Kat transforms briefly to prevent herself from drowning. When she's in the Turbo movie, you see her go Zeo Ranger 1 pink to save herself from like this massive fall. But that's the only other time you ever see the, the Zeo powers used. And the Zeo powers are completely separate from the Turbo powers.
Wow.
Which, I don't know, if I was doing the Power Rangers 20th anniversary episode, she did show up as the Pink Turbo Ranger, which threw the continuity out the window. She should have showed up as the Pink Zeo Ranger.
Oh, okay.
Because even Tommy had access to the Zeo powers in that crossover episode.
Because the Zeo powers are always growing, like you said.
They were never destroyed either.
Oh, okay. So
they were one of the few powers that was never destroyed.
Wow, so that's pretty sad that all those other powers got destroyed.
You betray me, my Ranger Slayer. You will die.
Alright, does Evil Tommy still have a thing for Evil Kim?
I think so.
I am not yours to command anymore. This ends now.
The ends now?
This ends now, Tommy.
Wow.
I mean, whatever.
I mean, he's so far departure from Tommy that he's not even Tommy anymore. You know,
he's not really
just
Tommy.
No.
Well, I am glad that Tommy actually does a really good evil voice. That's pretty cool.
I'm still...
It's not easy to do a good evil voice.
I'm a huge supporter if they want to do a Netflix Lord Draken miniseries. I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
And then you could just, if you don't want the Rangers to show up in person, just get some stunt guys and get like ASJ or Walter and some of those guys to do ADR for their character voices. And you could have a really cool miniseries. On a budget, and I think fans would love it. I mean, the only one you need to see demorphed once in a while would be, I mean, if you want to get the original Rangers to demorph, but the problem is, when Lord Draken attacks these, the original Rangers, they're kids.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they're teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense. Like, people's bodies age faster than their voices. So, I mean, if you really wanted to have the Rangers in, you could just have their... stunt doubles do like all the moves and then have them voice it over. What? Is that what we're talking about or no?
Well, no, I would say when they take off their helmets and stuff like that, it would be younger Rangers.
Oh, like people that look like them?
Yeah, you could easily find kids today who are like in their the same age as the original that look like the original.
From. I mean, even if you knew it wasn't them, like they didn't look exactly as them.
It's still the same characters.
As long as you're playing that character, like you're playing Zack.
Like Zack would have to be the Black Ranger, Trini would have to be yellow.
Exactly.
Yep. Ooh.
That would totally work for me. Like, you know, they've done it in so many other things. Like, they did Star Trek, and they had younger versions of Kirk and Spock that look really similar. Like, there you go. It's exactly the same idea.
Yep. They actually have Spock back in a Star Trek miniseries now that has, do you remember the captain before Kirk, who was in charge of the Enterprise?
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's the guy who is in charge of the Enterprise right now.
I remember him. Well, yeah, at least there was at least one captain before Kirk. I think there was only one, and he was in this one episode that was so freaky called The Cage. And I remember that episode in black and white, and they were trapped in this cage by these aliens using mind control to change their environment. And it was kind of like Perchance to Dream episode of Batman the Animated Series, where they were trying they were trying to make them believe that they were in a different environment, that they weren't in a cage.
Let's finish this with Ranger Slayer. There we go.
But anyway, they were in a cage.
Yeah. So that's the guy who's in the new Star Trek show. But there you go, people. That is the Ranger Slayer arcade. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. That was actually pretty tough to play as Ranger Slayer.
No more brainwashing. No more stealing morphers. Your rule is at an end.
I think it would have been very fitting to have Kimberly Ranger Slayer defeat Tommy, but I don't think she does in the comic. I'm pretty sure it's the original 5 Rangers that defeat him.
Okay.
And somehow they bring Tommy back to life. And then everybody loses their powers anyway, which was weird.
If I was Kim and I had the Ranger Slayer, I became evil, I'd keep the costume.
Well, I mean, she's not evil anymore. She even just said, like, your brainwashing failed. She's Kimberly again, but she's Kimberly that has a lot of experience and, you know, she knows how to use her powers. Just like, I really believe that Tommy was his strongest, not when he was a Zeo Ranger, but when he came back as an adult to play the Black Dino Ranger.
Oh, okay.
And lead that team. Although he felt not really like the leader. I would say, like, the Red Ranger was the leader of that show. But he felt like the mentor and also like the guy in charge.
So he was Qui-Gon Jinn?
No, I would say he was like General Hawk, and the Red Ranger was kind of like Duke or Flint.
All right, there you go.
That's my analogy.
Yo, Joe!
Exactly. So anyway, guys and gals, that does it for another arcade run. Thank you so much for watching. Join us next time as we have an SPD emergency with Cat Ranger. So prepare to be judged.
Woohoo!
Like, comment, subscribe. Again, tell us your favorite Ranger that you would put in Battle for the Grid and why you would choose that character. Check out Boom Studios Comics for some awesome Ranger stories about Battle for the Grid and beyond the grid. Until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming.
See ya!